Hi guys, welcome to The Executive Chef. Now pay attention because you may not see this again for a long time. I'm going to bake something. Today we're going to make peach cobbler. Now the reason I don't like to bake things is because you got to use one of these, a measuring cup. It's way too exact a science for me, but we'll soldier on today. Let's start with some fresh peaches. Now the old recipe that I have from my Nana Fedorchak called for a couple of cans of canned peaches. We don't do canned. So, especially now that they're in season, we picked up 3 or 4 pounds of beautiful Georgian peaches. First thing you're going to want to do is pit the peaches. Cut them in half the lengthways, sort of against the, I don't know, butt cheek, for want of a better term. So we're going to cut them this way, twist, you'll snap out your core and discard. Then slice your peach at about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch interval. Now we're going to start with about a 1/2 stick of butter in our big skillet back here. And the first thing we want to do, rolling at some pretty high heat, is saute off these peaches. Now for our purposes today, we're going to make what's commonly known as a hotel pan full of peach cobbler. That'll serve around 30 people. For your purposes, you'll probably want to cut this recipe by 1/3 and use a 9 by 13 inch casserole dish. Our ingredients today include butter, milk, cinnamon, little nutmeg. We've got some brown sugar and regular sugar, sifted flour, baking soda, and of course, it's about 3 quarts of peaches. So you'll need about 1 quart sliced of whole peaches. As our peaches start to cook, we're going to add 1 cup of regular sugar and a little more than a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And mix that in well. Now let's add a tablespoon of cinnamon and just a pinch of nutmeg. We're starting to get a nice syrup in there. Okay, let's work on the batter. First we'll need 3 cups of flour, and we'll need another cup of sugar. We will need 4½ teaspoons of baking powder, a little salt, another couple teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 more pinch of nutmeg. Now let's mix those dry ingredients. Okay, let's set aside the dry ingredients. And we've got 2 1/4 cups of milk. While the peaches finish, we're going to put 3 sticks of butter, 1 stick in your case, for a 13 by 9 casserole, into our big hotel pan. And we'll pop that into a 350-degree oven. Now we need to strain the peaches from the stove and put all that good peach syrup into the milk mixture. Try to get as much of that out as possible. Now let's stir the milk and peach reduction into our flour. This will make our batter for the cobbler. It's looking pretty smooth. You should come up with something like a pancake batter consistency. Okay, so we've got our butter melting right in the pan in the oven. To review, we need 4 sticks of butter, 4 cups of sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 4½ teaspoons of baking soda, 2 1/4 cups of milk, 3 quarts of peaches, fresh, 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now you can cut this recipe by 1/3 and that will fit perfectly into a 13x9 casserole dish. Hope you're following that. Or stay with the one I have and invite the whole neighborhood over. All right. Now we've got our pan full of melted butter. We'll add right to the pan our 3 quarts of peaches. Spread them out, nicey nice. You want to kind of leave a couple of little gaps and holes in there. Because next we're going to pour the mixture right over the top. Okay, I like to work a couple of spots in towards the middle, but be sure to allow the butter to collect all along the edges here. This is going to sort of self-bake, self-saute that batter right in the oven. Now last but not least, let's take another cup of sugar. I know what you're thinking. Hey, I never said this thing was low-cal. A little bit of brown sugar. Let's mix that together. With just a touch more cinnamon. And right over the top. So we'll take our whole pan right into the center rack of our convection oven. I'm going to back it down to about 325, 330 for the convection oven. At home, non-convection, running at 350. I'm thinking 40, 45 minutes tops until the top gets nice and golden brown. Let's see how we do. And we gotta let it cool a little bit. Maybe just a very little bit. Ooh. All right, let's see how we did. Hot, 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 hot. Wow. You know, let it cool down, give it 20 minutes, a little whipped cream, or better yet, some Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Georgia peach cobbler. I'm the executive chef. We'll see you next time. Um.